Imagine if power, politics, religion, rebellion, and art could speak through stones. Then the castle walls of Spain would be the perfect voice. From Moorish fortresses to royal palaces and Templar strongholds, each castle holds centuries of secrets behind its gates. So stay with us for a few minutes as we travel across Spain, from the hills of Granada to the cliffs of Peniscola, exploring 15 of the most majestic and legendary castles in the country. Alhambra. This is one of the most visited monuments in all of Spain, attracting over 2 million people annually. Perched on a hill overlooking the city of Granada in Andalusia, this UNESCO World Heritage Site is not just a fortress or palace. It's a vivid, living record of Islamic architecture in Western Europe. The name Alhambra comes from the Arabic Al-Khaleh Alhamra, meaning the Red Fortress, likely due to the reddish hue of its walls at sunset. Originally constructed in 889 AD as a small fortress, it gained significance in the mid-13th century when Muhammad I of the Nasrid dynasty began converting it into a palatial citadel. Over the next 2 centuries, it blossomed into a masterpiece of Islamic art and design, featuring exquisite tilework, arabesques, courtyards, and reflecting pools that perfectly embody Moorish aesthetics. The Alhambra served as the royal court of the Nasrid sultans, making it a political and cultural nerve center of the last Muslim kingdom in Spain. Beyond its intricate stucco work, arabesques, and grand courtyards, is its remarkable hydraulic infrastructure, a marvel of its time. Water was channeled from the Darro River via a 6-kilometer canal known as the Acequia Real, which entered the Alhambra at the Torre del Agua and supplied the entire complex. The water was used not just for drinking or irrigation, but as a central element of design, flowing through reflective pools, marble fountains, and subterranean cooling channels. Courtyards like the Court of the Lions weren't just beautiful. They were active water systems where 12 marble lion statues spouted water with pressure-controlled flow. The Generalife Gardens, the Sultan's summer palace, also featured cascades and runnels that allowed aristocrats to walk with cool water at their feet. In 1492, it was surrendered to the Catholic monarchs, Ferdinand and Isabella, marking the end of the Reconquista. The Alhambra has witnessed both opulence and decline, including periods of neglect and occupation by squatters, and later, efforts of romantic rediscovery in the 19th century. Today, you can explore the Nasrid palaces, the imposing Alcázar military fortress, and the Renaissance-style palace of Charles V, built after the Christian conquest. No visit to southern Spain is complete without walking through its intricately adorned halls and marveling at the silent echoes of centuries past. Alcázar of Segovia, perched dramatically on a rocky crag above the confluence of the Eresma and Clamars rivers in Spain, is said to have inspired the design of Walt Disney's Cinderella Castle. This iconic fortress, located in the historic city of Segovia, has a rich history dating back to the 12th century when it was built as a defensive stronghold for the Kingdom of Castile. Over the centuries, it evolved into a royal palace, a military academy, and today, a prominent museum and UNESCO World Heritage Site. The Alcázar's architecture is a striking blend of Romanesque, Gothic, and Moorish styles, reflecting Spain's diverse cultural influences. Its unique ship-like shape, with its pointed towers and steeply sloped roofs, adds to its fairy tale appearance. Historically, the Alcázar played a significant role in Spain's monarchy. It was here that Queen Isabella I was proclaimed Queen of Castile in 1474, a pivotal moment that laid the groundwork for the unification of Spain. The castle also served as a royal residence for generations of monarchs and as a strategic military post during conflicts like the Reconquista. Today you can explore its richly adorned halls, including the Hall of Kings, with its intricate coffered ceilings and portraits of Spanish monarchs, and the throne room, showcasing medieval grandeur. Climbing the Tower of Juan II rewards you with panoramic views of Segovia's old town, including the majestic Roman aqueduct. The Alcázar's blend of history, artistry, and breathtaking scenery makes it one of Spain's most treasured landmarks and a must-visit destination. Castillo de Almodóvar del Rio. This castle in Córdoba province stood empty for centuries before its dramatic revival and then even served as a filming location for Game of Thrones. Rising majestically above the Guadalquivir River, this 8th century fortress was originally built by the Moors and later expanded by Christian kings after the Reconquista. Its location was strategic, controlling key river routes and nearby trade passages. Throughout the Middle Ages, it changed hands multiple times and played roles in various military campaigns, including those led by Ferdinand III and Alfonso XI. After centuries of abandonment, the castle was purchased in the 19th century by the Count of Torralva, who spearheaded an extensive 36-year restoration project, bringing it back to its medieval grandeur. Architecturally, it features a blend of Islamic foundations and Gothic Christian restorations, with tall towers like the Torre del Homenage offering panoramic views. It has become a cultural hotspot, hosting medieval fairs, reenactments, and even serving as a filming location for Game of Thrones. Today, it's one of Andalusia's most visited castles, blending cinematic drama with deep historical roots. Castillo de la Calahorra. What if a remote Andalusian castle were the first in Spain to embrace the full elegance of Italian Renaissance design? That's exactly what sets Castillo de la Calahorra apart. Located in the province of Granada, on the edge of the Sierra Nevada, this fortress was built between 1509 and 1512 by Rodrigo Diaz de Vivar y Mendoza, Marquis of Zenit. While the exterior retains a formidable medieval look, with round towers and a compact layout on a rugged hilltop, the interior is a revelation. A Renaissance palace designed by Italian craftsmen, filled with arcaded courtyards, classical columns, and intricate coffered ceilings. This striking blend of military strength and humanist luxury was unprecedented in Spain at the time. The castle also holds historical weight. It became a symbol of noble defiance during the revolt of the Comuneros in the 1520s, when the Marquis openly challenged royal authority. Though now privately owned, the castle is occasionally open to the public and continues to fascinate scholars and tourists, alike with its juxtaposition of artistic innovation and medieval might. Its isolated setting only enhances its mystique, standing as a cultural and architectural bridge between two defining eras of Spanish history. Ponferrada Castle. This castle once defended pilgrims on the Camino de Santiago and became a Templar stronghold. Located in the region of El Bierzo, in the province of Leon, this massive fortress was given to the Knights Templar in 1178 by Ferdinand II of Leon to protect travelers on their way to Santiago de Compostela. Built on Roman foundations, the Templars expanded it into a formidable structure with double walls, defensive towers, and a drawbridge, becoming one of the largest castles in northern Spain. After the Templars were disbanded in the early 14th century, the castle changed hands multiple times, serving various military purposes. Despite periods of neglect, much of it remains intact and has undergone significant restoration. It's a visual timeline of feudal engineering, featuring Gothic and Renaissance elements layered over older foundations. Today, Castillo de Ponferrada offers historical exhibitions, guided tours, and views of the nearby mountains and vineyards. As part of the famed pilgrimage route, it's not just a fortress but a symbol of protection and perseverance along Spain's spiritual and historical arteries. Castillo de Belmonte. What if you could visit a castle that was never taken by force in battle? Welcome to Castillo de Belmonte, located in the province of Cuenca, in the autonomous community of Castilla-La Mancha. Castillo de Belmonte is a prime example of 15th century military architecture with a twist. It was built more as a symbol of power and lineage than as a battleground. Commissioned in 1456 by Don Juan Pacheco, the first Marquis of Villena and one of the most powerful nobles of his time, this castle stands atop the hill of San Cristobal and was strategically designed in a star-like shape with both Gothic and Mudéjar influences. It was intended to serve both defensive and residential functions and played a symbolic role in the political struggles of Castilian nobility. Although never besieged, it was a silent witness to numerous civil conflicts, particularly during the Castilian Civil Wars. The castle fell into disrepair over the centuries, but was lovingly restored in the 19th century by Empress Eugénie de Montijo, wife of Napoleon III of France, who was a descendant of the Pachecos. Today, you can walk along its formidable battlements, explore well-preserved towers, dungeons, and chambers, and even attend historical reenactments, including full-scale medieval tournaments. The castle also offers sweeping views of the La Mancha countryside, connecting you to both history and the famed literary world of Don Quixote, which unfolded not far from its walls. Castillo de Manzanares el Real. This is the Madrid's most complete medieval castle. Just 50 kilometers north, in Manzanares el Real, stands one of the finest late medieval fortresses in the region. It was built in 1475 by the powerful Mendoza family, is not only impeccably preserved but also a rare example of Spanish Gothic military architecture with Renaissance features. Constructed on the site of a previous Romanesque Mudéjar fortification, the current structure reflects the wealth and power of the Mendozas, who were closely tied to the Castilian monarchy. Its square layout is fortified with round turrets and a distinctive crenellated parapet, while inside, the castle boasts ornate wooden ceilings and a charming central courtyard. Unlike many Spanish castles that saw intense battle, this one primarily served as a noble residence and symbol of status. The castle has since become a cultural hub, housing a museum dedicated to Spanish castles and hosting concerts, plays, and exhibitions. Nestled beside the Santillana Reservoir with views of the Sierra de Guadarrama, it's a prime destination for explore history while enjoying the scenic nature. Castillo de Loarre. This is the oldest Romanesque castle in Spain and one of the best preserved in Europe. Standing sentinel on the edge of the Pyrenees in Huesca, Aragon, this 11th century fortress is an extraordinary relic of early medieval military architecture. It was commissioned around 1020 by King Sancho III of Navarre and later expanded by King Sancho Ramirez of Aragon to serve as a defensive outpost during the Christian reconquest of Muslim-held lands. Strategically positioned with commanding views over the plains of Huesca, the castle played a critical role in securing the region. Its robust Romanesque architecture includes thick stone walls, a royal chapel dedicated to St. Mary, a crypt, and 12 towers, each designed for both defense and religious symbolism, despite centuries of warfare and shifting political tides. Loarre never fell into significant ruin. It has also made cinematic appearances, notably in Ridley Scott's Kingdom of Heaven. Today, the castle site takes you a journey back 1,000 years, with guided tours that trace its military function, religious significance, and royal use. The panoramic views from its battlements alone make the climb worth it, capturing the enduring spirit of Aragonese history. Castillo de Olite. Located in the heart of the historic Kingdom of Navarre, this stunning fortress palace was largely built in the 14th and 15th centuries under King Charles III, also known as Charles the Noble. He transformed an earlier military fortress into an extravagant royal residence that was, at the time, one of the most luxurious in Europe. The castle complex was divided into different sections for the king, queen, court, and servants, and it boasted hanging gardens, exotic animals in a private zoo, and even a primitive air conditioning system using cold water pipes. Though never central to major battles, it was a political and cultural epicenter in medieval Navarre until the kingdom was annexed by Castile in the early 16th century. It later fell into partial ruin and was nearly destroyed by fire during the Napoleonic Wars, but was meticulously restored in the 20th century. Today, you can explore its twisting staircases, rooftop terraces, and Gothic halls, experiencing firsthand the splendor of Navarrese court life. Castillo de Consuegra. Want to see windmills, knights, and a castle all in one place? Head to Castillo de Consuegra in Castilla-La Mancha. Perched on a ridge overlooking the vast La Mancha plains, this 10th century fortress was originally built by the Moors and later captured by Christian forces in the 11th century. It gained prominence when King Alfonso VI gifted it to the Knights Hospitaller, who fortified it further and made it a central command post in the defense of Toledo. The castle was the site of the brutal Battle of Consuegra in 1097, where the son of El Cid, Diego Rodriguez, was killed fighting against the Almoravid army. Over centuries, it was expanded and rebuilt, only to fall into disrepair after its military use ended. Restoration efforts in the 20th century brought it back to life. Today, it's one of the most iconic castles in central Spain, partly thanks to the row of 12 whitewashed windmills nearby, immortalized in Miguel de Cervantes' Don Quixote as the giants his hero tried to fight. You can walk through the restored towers, chapel, and watchtowers while soaking in one of the most panoramic vistas in the region. The fusion of literary legend and real medieval warfare makes Consuegra a must-visit. Peniscola Castle. Located on a rocky headland jutting into the Mediterranean in the province of Castellon, there is Peniscola Castle, which also called the Castle of Papaluna. It was built by the Knights Templar between 1294 and 1307 atop an earlier Arab fortress. Its dramatic cliffside position, surrounded on three sides by the sea, gave it natural defenses and a commanding view of the coast. But what truly catapulted it into historical significance was its role in the Great Western Schism. In the early 15th century, Antipope Benedict XIII, known as Papaluna, established the castle as his papal seat after being ousted from Avignon. He lived and governed from within its stone halls, turning Peniscola into one of three papal capitals in Europe at the time. After his death, the castle passed through royal and military hands, serving as a key defense point against Barbary pirate attacks. In the 20th century, it became globally recognizable as a filming location, featured in movies like El Cid and HBO's Game of Thrones. Today, you can explore the Templar Chapel, climb the robust battlements, and enjoy stunning views of the Costa del Azahor, where waves still crash against centuries of intrigue and power. Alcázar of Seville or Royal Alcázar of Seville. How often do you find a castle that has been continuously used for over 1,000 years? The Royal Alcázar of Seville fits that bill. Located in the heart of Seville, this architectural wonder is the oldest royal palace still in use in Europe, serving today as a residence for the Spanish royal family during visits to the city. The origins of the Alcázar stretch back to 913 AD, when Abd al-Rahman III of the Umayyad Caliphate commissioned a fortress on the site of a former Roman settlement. Over the centuries, it evolved through Islamic, Mudéjar, Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque styles, reflecting the layers of cultural and political change in Andalusia. After the Christian reconquest of Seville in 1248 by Ferdinand III, the Alcázar was adapted and expanded, particularly under Pedro I in the 14th century, who employed Muslim artisans to design the ornate Mudéjar palace that now forms the centerpiece of the complex. One of its most dramatic moments came during the Age of Discovery, when Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand received explorers like Columbus and Magellan here. You can now wander through its lush gardens, intricate tilework corridors, and grand halls such as the Hall of Ambassadors and the Gothic Palace. It's not just a monument, it's a mirror reflecting Spain's diverse cultural past and ongoing royal tradition. Castillo de Gibralfaro. Built in the 10th century by the Caliph of Córdoba, Abd al-Rahman III, and later expanded in the 14th century by Yusuf I of Granada, this hilltop fortress was designed to protect the nearby Alcazaba and secure the strategic port city of Malaga from Christian advances. Its name derives from Jebel Faro, or Hill of the Lighthouse, referring to an ancient Phoenician beacon that once stood on the site. Gibralfaro became a centerpiece in the fierce battles of the Reconquista, particularly in 1487, when Catholic forces besieged it for over 3 months in one of the most grueling campaigns of the Granada War. The castle eventually surrendered, marking a major milestone in the Catholic monarch's conquest of Andalusia. Today, you can walk the parapet walls, peer into watchtowers, and visit the small museum housed within the former military barracks, which details the castle's Islamic and Christian phases. Its ramparts offer one of the best panoramic views in southern Spain, stretching from Malaga's bullring to the sparkling Costa del Sol, making it both a historical landmark and a must-see lookout. Butron Castle, located near Gathica in the Basque Country of northern Spain. This is a striking neo-Gothic masterpiece that looks like it belongs in a fairy tale. Its origins, however, are rooted in medieval history, dating back to the 13th century when it was a fortified stronghold for the Butron family, one of the most powerful noble houses in the region. Over centuries, the castle was a center of violent feuds among Basque clans during the Middle Ages, a period marked by rivalries between noble factions known as banderizos. By the 16th century, Butron Castle fell into disuse as the region stabilized. It was not until the 19th century that it gained its current romanticized appearance, thanks to Spanish architect Francisco de Cubas, also known as the Marqués de Cubas. He reimagined the castle as a fanciful neo-Gothic structure, inspired by Central European castles. The transformation turned Butron into a highly decorative structure, with towering spires, turrets, and crenellated battlements that evoke the grandeur of medieval chivalry, despite its lack of modern defensive function. Surrounded by 100-year-old palm trees and lush woodland, the castle's enchanting exterior and serene setting make it a popular destination for photographers and travelers. Though its interior has been closed to the public for years and the castle itself has been privately owned, its striking appearance continues to captivate visitors. Nearby hiking trails and scenic landscapes add to the experience, offering a peaceful escape into nature. Butron Castle is a fascinating blend of historical legacy and romantic idealism. Its secluded location and fairy tale charm make it a hidden gem in the Basque Country. Mota Castle. This fortress was once the financial backbone of the Catholic monarch's empire. Strategically located in the province of Valladolid, Castile and Leon, Castillo de la Mota was one of the most significant strongholds in late medieval and early modern Spain. Also known as Medina del Campo, its origins go back to the 11th century. But the imposing brick and limestone structure seen today took shape during the 15th century under the reign of John II and, later the Catholic monarchs, Isabella I and Ferdinand II. Its role extended beyond military defense. It served as a royal treasury, housing the vast wealth collected from new overseas colonies. It was also used as a state prison, holding such famous inmates as Cesare Borgia. Architecturally, La Mota combines late Gothic and early Renaissance elements, featuring a wide moat, drawbridge, and a central keep towering 40 meters high. The castle also functioned as a communications hub, where royal decrees were broadcast to the realms. Today, La Mota offers immersive exhibitions, medieval reenactments, and educational programs. From royal conspiracies and medieval warfare to Renaissance art and Islamic engineering, these castles are true time machines, each with its own chapter of Spain's history etched into stone and mortar. If you enjoyed the journey, hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration. Which castle would you love to visit first? Or have you already been? Drop your answer in the comments. And if we missed a castle you think deserves the spotlight, let us know. We'd love to feature it in our next adventure. Thanks for watching. Until next time, happy travels.